Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 28 of the Synthwave Hangout. I am Memory Design.
And I am Woren.
I was just going to say, and with me always is my trusty sidekick, Woren, but you're not really a sidekick, so it didn't seem right.
I mean, I'm fine being a sidekick. It's fine.
And apologies for the chat or anyone listening. I have to adjust my mic, which apparently is super loud. So give me 1 second. I almost had everything set up for this show. I was so close. But
yeah, I mean, it's okay, buddy.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah. You're all right.
So how you doing today? What's going on your end?
I'm okay. My oldest is home sick from school, so she's crashed out upstairs.
Nice.
And,
Are they off yet from school?
They were over the weekend, and then they had yesterday off, but then they're back today.
Gotcha. Yeah, my daughter has, it's so stupid. They have Memorial Day here in the U.S. off, and then they go back for today and tomorrow, and then they're off all summer. It's so dumb. Just Memorial Day should be it, right? That should be the end. But I guess when
are they done over there? Like, when is it? Are they done before June?
No, I'm saying they're done. This Wednesday is their last day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, that's crazy. That kind of sucks for you, I guess.
Oh, and so in the back, like when Dom and I were getting ready for the show, he kept saying my mic kept cutting out. So in the chat, you're gonna have to let me know if that is happening, because there might have to be some adjustments. What's so silly about this setup is, like, there's sometimes issues with these plugin activation things, right? And so I know for waves, for example. No, for like waves, for example, if like that one time that the subscription renewed and then my mic didn't work because the plugins weren't working, right? So what waves will do if it goes into demo mode for some of these is it'll put silence in, and so I'm kind of worried that is what's happening. But I think I cut out all waves plugins, but now Plugin Boutique is giving me problems and needing them to re-register. So we almost had a panic situation before the show again today.
You just got to do what I do. Just smash everything.
Yeah, I tried hitting everything. I mean, I do think about what you would do.
Yeah.
So
try punching.
So I want to talk for a second about that. I asked in the chat, and no one responded, that Gamaflow cover of Passport, Please. Are you familiar with that, Dominic, at all?
Yes and no. I didn't know it was a cover because I'm terrible like that.
So it was a MIDI file that was included in Windows 95 originally. In like they had a bunch of different songs that came with the operating system that you could play. And in Windows 95, it was called Passport. And I discovered that song and I loved it. And even to this day, I love that original MIDI version of the song. And what's cool about it is if you open the file, you can see the actual full track name is called Passport, Please. And so I was so excited when I saw that he put this on the album. I was like, and he's not the first person to cover it. It's kind of like a well-known thing. But I was very excited to hear the Gamaflow cover of that. So I thought I'd throw that in there.
You've reached epic proportions of nerdiness in my book, and I love it. I really love it.
Oh, and we're getting some feedback. Your mic is not cutting out. This is from Vorador. However, the mic from Woren is too low in volume. All right, I can correct that. Thanks for the feedback, guys.
You can turn me up. Apparently, I need to be booming as well.
Yeah, you need. All right, I turned you up a little bit. Let me know if Warren's blowing everyone out now. But on my side, here's the problem, and we got to figure this out because I have all sorts of plugins and limiters and stuff on my end, which makes my voice, like more boomy and stuff like that. And Dom is just going right through Discord. So we try to adjust the volumes the best we can. That's right. Don't look behind the curtain.
Do not look over here.
So one thing I want to say to everybody is we have a secret surprise track we're going to be playing later in the show. It's coming up sort of soon. I mean, there's a block and then the surprise track is in that next block. But everyone's going to have to get ready to give some feedback. Because I'm excited for people to hear this track. And it's a mystery who it could be, so...
Yes, very mysterious.
Everybody will have to wait to find out. So... Oh my god. Shoot, I felt like I had a question for you, but now I don't. I've totally forgotten.
It's okay. That's most of my life, I feel like. It's the refrigerator situation where you walk up to the refrigerator, and you open the door, and you're like, why am I at the fridge?
Right.
Why did I even walk over here?
That's how I've been feeling with some of my tracks recently. I like we always joke that like I think about tracks and I like make them with purpose, and you sit down and you're just like make a track and you're like, hey Dave, here's 75 bangers I just made. and then I'm like all mad at you for like 2 weeks. But I've had this thing recently where I've been putting down a bunch of ideas and everything, right? And then like in the moment, I'm like, yo, this is it. This is gonna be killer. I'm like, should I send it to Dominic? No, I'll wait till it gets more refined. Then I get back to it the next morning, or later in the afternoon or whatever, and I'm like, what is this? What have I done?
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
What am I doing?
I hate when that happens because I do the same thing. I'll go back to something and I'm like, why did I think this was cool? Like, I don't understand.
Right. And it's just, Old just hopped in the chat. What's up, Old?
Hey, bud.
Yeah, so I'm just like the choices, it just sounds terrible. It's like, it's just basic synths, but it has the sound almost like I'm just pumping it through a limiter, and I'm like, okay, this is just all terrible. Let me just, and I'm so proud of myself.
It's the chord progression I find though, like, you know what I mean? Do you ever have to, where you're like, okay, the chord progression or something, or maybe like the rhythm or whatever's good, but like you come back and you're like, and the synth is just the wrong synth.
Right. It's just horrible. And then I go through this awful thing. It's like fun and awful where I've got like, okay, I'm going to go through this list of presets and see if I can find one that I might need to adjust or whatever, right? And then it's this daunting task of like, for me, hitting down arrow and then replay and then replay and then replay.
Oh yeah, it's like finding the snares. You know what I mean?
Oh God. Right. It's like, and they're like, wow,
these 30 different, and then half of them sound the same almost.
Right. Back in the day, I used to put it in VLC and run through the snares, and it would be like, I'm like, well, this is a total waste of time.
One long drum roll.
Right. Like half of them don't even register as 1 second, because they're less than a second. So
that's insane, dude.
Anyways, I'm sure some people in the chat can identify with this. Oh my God.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just, trying to find any sound or create any sound is always strange, because I think it's tough because unless you have like a direction you're already going,
yeah,
it's like finding that first thing you're going to do is probably like, I don't know. That's why I always just like fiddle with things. I just make a bunch of noises, and then I'm just like, okay, I like that noise, and then I'll stick with that. And how can I, how could I make this work? And then what's the next chord?
Yeah, man, you've been really annoyingly good recently, and so you really got to cut that out, because you're starting to affect my sense of self-worth over here. So I must be dominant.
I'll always tell you that.
In every way, dude. I'm just kidding. But you have been really hitting a stride recently, and I'm very excited about that. And I don't want that to seem like, thank God you finally started doing something good or anything.
No, that's exactly how I took it. It's fine,
right, I knew you'd take it that way, right?
Yeah. No, we're all on this journey, though, man. You know how it goes. Like, we all develop and evolve as we go and grow. And I've just been applying my like every ounce of free time I have for a little over a year. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's almost been like 2 years, actually, I think.
Yeah,
no, it's been a year.
Right. It feels like it's been forever, right?
Yeah, it's wild.
In a good and bad way, I guess, right? It's like, you can remember, the stressful times, but then you think about all the good times, and it's starting, in my mind anyways, to form kind of like a nostalgia. Like, oh, I remember that. What was that, 5 years ago? And it was like 2 months ago, right?
Yeah, you're right. I've only been releasing under Woren in Windows for... Like, not even Windows is less than.
Wait, you're Windows also?
I mean, the other
whoever that guy is.
He's in the background somewhere. Where are you at?
Right.
He's not there.
Dude, I would love it so much if you secretly had a twin, right? And you were just messing with me for like a whole year, and you guys sound the same.
He's like all over the place. Like, I don't understand.
And then I have some like, amazing, like flashback movie moment where like I'm thinking of all the times I've seen you on video, and one, the tone of your glasses is slightly more pink sometimes, and I'm just putting it all together. I'm like, oh my God.
His beard is not always trimmed, but sometimes it is.
Oh man.
I like what Old just said. He said, I see a time when EG uploads Woren tracks because he makes them by the hour.
That's right. Oh my God. All right, dude. It's almost 10:30, so let's move on to the next block of music, if that's okay with you, and then we'll get back.
I'm all right with that. Yeah.
All right, everyone. We'll see you in the chat.
I'm never gonna lie to you. jerk, a real piece of work. We all have our moments of weakness. I'm not proud to admit it. I took my eyes off the prize. That prize has always been you. The thing I'm most proud of, this life and love we have built. So I'm never gonna lie to you, lie, even if the truth makes me look like a real jerk, a real piece of work. Oh, I'm never gonna lie to you, lie, even if the truth makes me look like a real jerk, a real piece of work. Oh, we all have secret attractions. We structure our habits based on what we choose to love. As for me, just for a moment, I let myself orbit a false god, a fake paramour. But I'm never gonna lie to you, lie, even if the truth makes me look like a real jerk, a real piece of work. Oh, I'm never gonna lie to you, lie, even if the truth makes me look like a real jerk, a real piece of work. Oh, we all have illusions, but we try to maintain. But I am only human at the mercy of your grace. You're the picture of forgiveness. No one ever hurt your heart. One thing that I know is what we had is me. I'm never gonna lie to you, even if the truth makes me look like a real jerk, a real piece of work. Oh. don't know my name. You don't know my face. I can always be anyone. No one could recognize me. Still sunsets and those midnight drives.
I should really run that Atlas Neon song through something to to see how loud it is. His stuff is always coming out so loud, but it's always very good, so I don't complain.
It's like minus like 3 LUFS.
Yeah, my joke to him is always that it's at -2. You know, like he comes in and it's just this wall of sound, just like loud, but it works so well.
Described as, huh?
Right. What?
What genre is that? What?
Right. Deafening genre. Yeah. So glad to see so many people in the chat. Windows this year. That's somebody that we'll have to talk about later. Some backstory with him, you know, little sketchy, but he's still part of the crew.
He's got a long history with this guy named Powerbook. Okay.
Right. Well, that guy has some problems too. So, but you know, those vapor guys are right. Nothing but problems.
Strange.
I'm surprised Pashang is still awake and with us. I am glad you are here. Anyway, so I was just thinking, like, should we just keep this joke going the whole show? And then people listening back are just confused?
I'm okay with that.
Oh, I also love during songs like, you know, people always say when the visualizer hits right, it's excellent. And when it hits wrong, especially with the visualizers I'm using, it's hilarious, right? So you get this high intensity song with like Atlas Neon playing, and then it's like that very slow roller coaster, like
right, yeah.
And then it's like a butterfly.
The
Christmas Santa, although that would be kind of cool. And then like you get like a slower vocal song come on, and it's just like, you know, madness going on in the background the whole time. So.
Oh man. Well, I mean, we don't plan it out. I mean, it just they just happen, right? Like,
yeah. I have it on a random thing. Although when I did that show, like the way Dan does it, when I tried to replicate his show when we did the Friday show, you know, maybe we could do that. Although these are kind of iconic in a way because they're so vintage now. Like all these visualizers were like really cool in like the late 90s. Like when they originally came out. So
that's what we're doing. No, I think this is perfectly fine.
Yeah. When I decided to use Winamp as kind of like the engine for this show, I was like, well, I'm going to go all in. It's going to be like I'm in college all over again, you know, like with Napster and everything, right? Downloading all sorts of new
pile of dirty laundry right behind me for aesthetical choices.
Right. Well, I try to remain as gross as possible, so I just recreate that experience during this show.
I don't shower for 2 days before
right. Just to prep for the show. Your wife is like learned to accept it, but has like conversations with your family or her family about it. You know,
it's like, I don't understand why you need to do all these things if you're just talking on the radio. I'm like, you don't get it.
You don't get it.
It's fine.
Right, you don't get it at all, right? You're like, wait, why are you?
I have to go walking through the woods, okay? I have to work out. But she's like, but I don't understand why you don't need to shower.
Right. The whole show is just so you don't have to shower. That's really what this has all been about this whole time.
Right, like, we're working on an image, okay?
Right.
You don't get it.
Yeah, we got this image going on of, like, dirty teenagers.
Man's gonna make it.
Right. Yeah, we're really fooling everybody that we're still teenagers, too, or early 20s. We've really done a good job with that, I think, with the whole crew here.
I think so, too, yeah. I mean, I think everybody knows.
Right. Oh, my God. Oh, shoot. Man, this is the second time today that I've had a question for you about something you're doing, and it's just totally, I've totally blanked on it. It was something about... What were
you don't want to know.
No, it was about Serum 2. You were telling me about something about Serum 2 before we got on. What was it? I wanted to ask you about that because
So I was like, I was messing around with Serum 2, and what I completely forgot that they added was you were able to drop in like samples of like whatever, and I was trying to find a really good like chorus of like people making like an you know, like noise.
Oh, that's right.
And,
that's right.
Yeah, and like so I'm trying to see if I can get that going because there's a track I'm working on that I want to release, and if I can get that to work, I'll add it to it. But if not, then it's not a big deal.
If you can't find something, can we please have Pashang sample himself being like, oh, or something like that?
I need like a chorus of people. No, I mean, I got to find, I'll find something out.
What if we got 10 Pashang takes, and then you could put them together to like the Pashang chorus? I think this is a really good idea.
It's got to be different octaves of C, so that we can do
different octaves of C, and he has to do it when it's like way too late and he can't sleep for maximum quality.
Obviously,
this is a great idea. I think going forward, this should be your main instrument. If he's still awake,
Pashang making noises and then me sampling them.
Yeah. So the next song I want you to do is all just Pashang doing random stuff into a mic.
Okay.
I
can do that.
Okay,
we'll make
great.
it happen. I can layer it with like a saw or something. Sure.
Yeah, because I've been meaning to tell you this whole album thing that you're working on is okay, but I really think you should trash it just for this.
I think so too. I think I should just not. I should stop now.
Right. I've been meaning to tell you how awful it is, but no, that even seems mean for me to say. I can't even go on with
Brendan,
this.
Basically, what we're suggesting now, Brendan, is that you should just record your everyday life. You know, just kind of as you're going through things, like the swish of your pants while the phone's in your pocket, or the wind of your bald head being, as you're driving, and the wind shearing off the top of it because now you are, very aerodynamic.
Yeah, we got to play into his whole new look too. I don't know if you saw that Insta reel or whatever, but we have to.
Yeah, my favorite was the one person that dropped the F-bomb.
Right.
Like, what the F?
Yeah,
but that was probably my favorite one.
This whole block is going to be about Pashang sounds now. I think it is.
Yeah. I want one of you on a gym floor with your head squeaking across the floor.
The gym floor. All right. Well, Pashang's going to have to tell his job that he needs a week off because this is obviously more important.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, this is what pays.
Right. We got to contact his wife and make a deal that she will encourage his son to leave little Legos around so he can step on them with bare feet. And then we can record. Right. Or just some string of swear words. I think this is the way it's going.
String of swear words is definitely, this is what we need. So
hold on. Brandon McCool just came in and said,
Dave, make the shirt. Brendan, get on those noises.
Yeah. Are we sampling bald heads? I can put in a bid.
Right.
That's right. All right. We got a whole new thing going here.
I like it. That's what we're going to just everyday noises. That's what we're going to name the album.
Everyday noises. And right. It's just an awful album, but all we do is pump it up and talk about how great it is and get everybody involved. So people not within the know are like really confused about like why.
There's a cult following of people that listen to it that tell everybody they don't get it.
Right. See, we're on the same page. He's just
ahead of his time. Okay, he's just ahead of his time.
Oh man. Okay, so in this next block, we added a track to the end of it, and I'm wondering, do you want to talk about it now? Do you want to come back later?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Yeah, no. So, the name of the track is called A Moment's Notice. It is coming up on the Windows album that I'm hopefully going to be releasing this summer. I'm hoping for either June or July, obviously. I don't know which one. I was thinking July because it might be closer to my birthday. It may make me feel a little bit better to release it near my birthday. So
yeah.
But this track, I wanted it to be. So I named it A Moment's Notice because, I want everyone to have their own interpretation of it. I don't have like a real interpretation of it for myself as much as I do. Like it's. You know what? I'm just not going to even explain what I think about it. But the point is, though, it's called A Moment's Notice. It's a very, I don't even know how to really describe it. Very trippy, like roller coaster of a song. I don't know. I really liked making it. It was a lot of fun, and I feel like it's in a really good place. So.
Excellent. So Yes, so this is a secret preview for everybody on the show of what's coming up on the new Windows album. I've heard this whole album. I'm very excited about it, and I'm not just being nice. I think this is really something. I think that you're really onto something here. I feel like whenever I say a compliment on this show, I sound like I'm like acting. Hey, it sounds real cool. You did such a great job. Pat yourself on the back. But I really do mean this. It's my tone or something. I don't know what it is.
Oh, dude, it's okay. I get it. Listen, like I said, there's a handful of people out there that I know when they say they like something, I know that they're being like honest.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm one of them. Is that what you were saying?
No, absolutely.
I'm just kidding. All right, so we added an extra track. So this is a 4-song block we got coming up with some new music, and then at the very end is the kind of secret Windows preview. So then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. All right. Talk to everybody in the chat.
here to play. Gonna stay with the revolution, brother, today. Taking you crazy like a game that is that up in your mind, but you know that just bang bang your mind. We're here to play. Gonna stay with the revolution, brother, today. Brother today. Gonna stay with the revolution, brother, today.
Well, I think that went over very well. I think you got the stamp of approval, dude.
Yeah, sweet. I mean, honestly, like I said, it's one of those things where it's like I've been trying to develop this sound. I mean, you've been there the whole time. You've listened to this whole like journey that I've been on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I really think I nailed down this sound that I've been going for. It took a while though, you know that. Like it didn't really even click until like a couple months ago, where like I just started like oh okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, no, I think it's it like if you like the sound of this song, you're gonna like the rest of the stuff. And it's not all exactly like this, right? Not every song is this kind of like, this is a slower one with like more stuff going on in the background and stuff. There's some stuff that's more upbeat, some stuff that almost leans into that more vapor office wave style, territory for me anyways. So yeah, every song on this thing that you're going to be releasing has a quality to it that I think is exceptional. Thanks,
man. I really appreciate that. Cause like I said, this is something that like, Dave and I talk about this constantly all the time, but like I'm very particular about when I'm making something like specifically an album. I try really hard to like make sure I'm hitting like a certain like consistency. At least like not where everything's the same, but in a way where it's not so drastically different song to song.
Yeah, for sure. My favorite comment was from Bending Grid. How would you dance to this? And Brandon McCool says slowly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's incredible.
It's definitely more of a put it on and like vibe to type thing. Like
right.
Like I said, it's
I envision that Simpsons, like with the different hues. Like listening, vibing back and forth. Oh, Car just hopped in the chat.
That was like the era that I really fell in love with. Like, because like I said, I was really into vaporwave before I even knew anything about synthwave. So like I was always very that whole era where the chill synth and all that whole thing was like that whole time was when I was really really into that sound. So it's like I'm trying to do my version of it in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're gonna hit it. It's like I forget who said it in the chat. Maybe it was Cocaine for Toothaches, or maybe it was Vorador. Somebody said that it sounds vaporwave-ish or something like that, and I think that's a really good way to describe it. It's not traditional vaporwave, but I think people who like vaporwave a lot are gonna be drawn to the sound and the overall feeling of the music. But it also is going to be attractive to the chillwave people as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking too, because it's one of those things where it's not traditional vaporwave in a sense where I'm sampling something and then, making different cuts or whatever to whatever it is. Like I make all the music and then I just slow it down is all I do. But it's I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't know. I'm really excited about this. Like this is like it's it is like when you're doing something and you got a project and you're ending and it's a lot of weight off my shoulders that I'm finished, but I still have a lot of work ahead.
Now you're right. I was going to say now you can get into the panic part of like obsessing over details only you will notice. Right.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. I've already like I said today, I was like telling you, like I was thinking about adding to that track that you guys just heard. The choir vocal thing over, just because I want that when that rises and lowers in pitch, I want that to have that more like the right. So I don't know.
It's funny, like when you do a release, you pine over things like the text at the bottom of Bandcamp, right? And you're like going back and forth, and then like as an average listener, you listen to the song and you look at that text and you're like, oh, cool. And then you get back to the music, But as artists, we like go over every little aspect of it, just in case there's that one person that reads it and is like moved by it or something like that.
Yeah, it's strange. It's a strange feeling when you're leading up to something you're gonna release, because like, well, we talked about this before as well, is like when you're done with it, it's no longer yours.
Right.
So I got to make sure that like I'm happy with it before I push it out.
Yeah, absolutely. That absolutely makes sense. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing this before me, because my forever coming out next album that we'll see. I
have not a doubt in my mind, man.
I had to, there was this remix, as you know, that I was working on, and it was just a reminder of like that kind of getting it to the finish line thing, and how stressful that can be. So,
but you want to have a certain quality, and
right.
it's tough to hit that thing when you're evolving and growing. It's like you find out new things week to week.
Yeah.
Sometimes day to day or even hour to hour. But like you're like, oh, I could totally do this, and then you go back and you make adjustments, and you're like, I don't know. It's just a strange thing. Also, what the strangest thing is also when you go to do from mix to master, and then like once everything's turned up, you're like, ooh, okay, I gotta fix that.
Right. You just think for a second in your head, what if I just released the mix and turned up the volume? Would I think stuff like that sometimes. I'm like, would anyone notice? Come on.
The mix sounds fine to me.
Right.
I'm really happy with the mix, and then I go to the master, and I'm just like, nope.
Yep. Right. The bass is just coming out. Things are poking out like knives, and you're just like, ooh, swing and a miss. But that mix sounds fire.
Right. Little do you know that because you don't have it turned up all the way. You know what I mean? Kind of.
Right. Oh my God.
I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, it's dynamically, I think when you're making music is one of the toughest hurdles when you're first starting out, is like learning how to even properly handle dynamic.
Yeah.
Or even like frequencies, you know what I mean? Trying to understand like which frequencies to fill and which ones to take out, to leave space. It's a really weird like alchemist
right
thing.
This reminds me of a big shout out to Bending Grid, who has helped me a lot with that and given me little tips and stuff. And this guy he's so kind with his help and the willingness to do stuff, and he'll send me little videos of examples and stuff. So I just want to give Bending Grid a shout out for being such a cool person.
Oh yeah, always very helpful. That's that's one of the great qualities of a handful of people that I appreciate in our community, is that there's a handful that are not afraid to talk to you about like their process. Because I mean, I've always been real big on you finding out your own sound and like finding your own way. I think is really important. But I do think having some kind of idea on how to achieve that sound is super useful. It just depends on the person, you know what I mean? It depends on like if you can take, like it's one of those things where it's like if somebody gives me advice or tells me something, I'll take it into consideration and I'll usually try it the way they tell me to do it. But what I do is I try to find my own way afterwards. Like I'll be like, okay, well I kind of like this. Yeah. Well, how can I do it this way? I do think that the longer I've been producing and then doing the mixing and mastering stuff, I've become far less picky about things, I guess, in a way where it's like, I mean, if there's a sound I'm trying to achieve, I'm not going to do the little, people do like the micro, like set the cue to like 3 and then like it's this little tiny sliver.
Right.
That's brought down. Like I don't do that anymore. Like I've stopped doing that. I can't. Like it's so wasteful. You might as well just like, if you're going to carve out a space, just do like a big pull down, you know what I mean? You might as well, because I think that was one of the biggest hurdles.
Yeah, I mean, there's many ways you can mix, of course. I mean, if we had our friend on, he would probably argue to the death with you about that statement, but I agree with you.
I mean, I just think that there's a million ways to achieve a certain outcome, you know what I mean? It just depends on how you arrived there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's also important to develop your own sound. There are objective truths though, right? You know what I mean? There are, like, if something's not intentional and it's harsh or whatever, then you might want to fix that or figure out a way to, make adjustments as you go.
Right. But there's a lot of little things that, like, people will tell you, and they're like, you have to go down by 0.3 dB in a very sharp thing right here, and you're like, it sounds the same. At least to me.
Once again, it's one of those things where I think that if it sounds good to you, and you got to be honest with yourself though too. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the hardest thing to do, is be honest with yourself. Like if you need,
do I want this to be done and it sounds fine because that, or does it really sound fine?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You should definitely. I mean, I think everybody should take their time. I mean, if things take longer to happen or release or whatever, then that's the way it is, man. Like, I think everybody needs to give themselves like a little bit of like a break when it comes to like, cut yourself some slack.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Because, everyone's trying to beat the algorithm or whatever it is all the time. And it's like, there's something to be said about somebody who has like a slower release schedule maybe, or whatever, and then maybe they just have more time that they're spending on the quality of it versus just trying to like pump out track after track kind of
Yeah, I think it depends. There are definitely people that can somehow pump out stuff every other week and it's just great every time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so
like,
some people have that
people
magic ability I don't have, but
right. Or I find that a lot of people have just tracks that are made way in advance and then they just have like a like a release schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is, to me, is kudos to them, because I don't have that kind of work ethic where I can't just, I don't know, like my brain is just wired different. Like I mix as I go, but I don't spend like,
I'm just kidding.
I always
You're making
do.
Ben and Grit upset. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm joking. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to don't want that. But yeah, no, it's like one of those things where I truly think that there's no one way to do everything.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
That there, like I said, there is objective truth though. Like, some things need to be more upfront, some things need to be more, wide and
right.
Da, 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 da.
Right. Yeah.
But,
I've also been getting some feedback from Alex Lightspeed and Daniel Quasar as well, both like super talented guys. And this is one thing it reminds me of, like, that I really like about being on a label is the community back end and the people willing to help you, and where it's just like you throw something in like a group chat, and then there's just like these RetroSynth artists falling out of the woodwork to volunteer to help you with stuff, or listen and give feedback, or do whatever you need to do. And that's the community aspect of the label, and I assume it's like this on other labels too, but definitely for ours, it is one of the biggest benefits, I think, of everything that is about being on a label.
Right. No, and I agree with I also Vorador. You make a good argument. I'm not disagreeing with anybody's methods or anything. I'm just saying, for me, I've never been able to make I make a bunch of stuff, but I never release it. Like I usually just pick what I think is good out of the mess of noises I've made, and then try to make an album out of it or something. But like I'm not really good with releasing singles. I guess I'm not. Like I just leave that for like collabs or remixes.
Yeah, we'll see though. You never know. It's so funny, by the way. Alex Lightspeed literally just jumped in the chat. I didn't even see him jump in when I said that comment. Oh, that's funny.
I love Alex. Alex is.
He jumped in. He's like, I heard my name or something.
Right. You've summoned me.
Right. He's just fast asleep and just sits up straight. He's like, I'm needed.
I just like the first thing he says is, "Oh my God, it's morning."
Right. Okay. Hey, Gemini 88 is still here, I think, right? Yeah, he is. I just did a search. The next block up is like the block of non-RetroSynth people, our second one that we always do when it's just you and me. And I had an artist on here that I just took off, and I'm going to put Gemini 88's Behind Your Eyes on, since he's in the chat. So I'll try to get the Bandcamp info for that real quick. So if anyone likes it, they can pick that up. And he's on our partner label Retro Reverb as well. So that's extra good. And Cole was in here earlier. I don't know if you saw him or not, but what's up to Cole if he's still here?
It's one of those things where it's like
it's impossible to watch. It's impossible.
Yeah, not while I'm talking. At least it's not always like easy to read and have a discussion.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's move on unless you got something else.
No, I'm good.
Cool. All right, so this is our friends block we got coming up next, and the first one we have is by our buddy Cosmonic. It's called Afterlife.
Remember when I died on that cold December night? We were lying in the road. You held me tight. but I finally had to let go. Solo. But in the afterlife, I saw light, then I went right through. There was an afterglow beyond the soul. It's only universal truth. In the upside down, I wasn't lost and I wasn't found. I was only pure mind. From above the ground, I could see it all in rewind. I was so blind. But in the afterlife, I saw light, then I went right through. There was an afterglow beyond the soul. It's only universal truth. But in the afterlife, I saw light, then I went right through. There was an afterglow beyond the soul. I saw a universal truth. But in the afterlife, I saw light, then I went right through. There was an afterglow beyond the soul. I saw a universal truth. built on pretty lies, and now you're set free, and now you're set free. I see the truth behind your eyes. You won't deceive me, you won't deceive me. I was built on pretty lies, now you're set free.
Well, I'm really glad I swapped that in for the song I did have. The song I did have, was a banger as well, but that song is one of my favorites that's been released recently. And
Yeah, it's really good, honestly.
he said he was working and listening, so hopefully you heard that because it's an excellent tune.
For sure.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at our list here. We get to this point at the end of the show where like I'm just chatting it up and gabbing with you and everything, and then I realize the time, and then I start like, what was that in The Hangover, right, where he's at the card table and all the equations start coming out of his head, when he's like counting cards. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Right, this is what I'm like trying to add track numbers, but only for me it's like 3 minutes and 39 seconds plus 3 minutes and 36 seconds, and I'm like, I'm just like, for some reason I can't do basic math and talk and like run the show, so I'm like trying to always figure out the time. But what were we talking about right before that last block? Do you remember?
That's a good question. I don't remember.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like it goes away after listening to all the music, because I'm just like sitting here vibing to different things. But anyways, it doesn't matter.
I get lost. But yeah, no, I mean, it's, I don't know. I really like that track myself too, man. Like I was, I've reached out to him actually because I want to try to do something soon.
Yeah.
One day. TM, trademark soon.
Right. And you have not heard back? Is this a public call out for him to get back to you?
No. He responded.
No,
Yeah,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah. No, that'd be weird. I'm not doing that.
Right. Just waiting for a reply.
Just wait for Ollie Ride.
Right. Yeah, Ollie, if you're listening, haven't heard back yet about my
what's
tune.
going on with that there,
Right.
friend?
Right. Oh man.
But yeah, no, it's.
By the way,
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm not like drinking enough water, but like I'm constantly having to cough, and so now I'm starting to use the. I know I'm telling people this, the mute button. So you've probably heard me cough several times, but I don't think it's made it into the show. By the way,
The cough button.
right. So now I'm advancing to beginner level streamer at this point. I think
That's good. I like that.
I've gone from
yeah.
infant level to beginner, and I'm hoping to be beginner one.
Toddler.
Right, beginner one or whatever
Toddler
later. Toddler level. I am almost at toddler level, I think, at this point, but I'm figuring it out. It's funny.
Yeah.
Like I look at like Daniel, like Heartbeat Hero, as kind of like an example of somebody who does everything very, very well and very planned out and precise. Right. And so
He never seems to ever cough or have anything going on.
yeah, he's got a perfect situation going on. So I'm always like, would he do this? Yeah, he's got a well-ventilated room. He's not like in a basement, like broadcasting a show.
Humidifier going and everything.
He's got his nebulizer in before the show and everything, right? to try to control the environment.
He uses his sinus cleaning.
Right.
Pours the liquid in his nose.
Right, and stupid me, I'm like, all right, it's time for the show. What should I do? Let's get several carbonated drinks, all ready to go, which is excellent for talking. Constantly.
Let's get all this caffeine going so my mouth goes dry.
Right, I'll have to do that constant annoying thing people do where you silent burp, like where you're like, hey, anyways, I'm sure the audience would love that.
I apologize.
Right. I'm just slamming this highly carbonated water the whole time the show's on.
Perfect.
Oh, look, the chat is dropping like fly. Right.
Yeah, right. Everybody's leaving. I wonder why. No,
I'm just kidding.
I don't know, man. It's been a wild.
There it is.
I'm still kind of reeling over the fact that like my kids are back at school today.
Yep.
And because like it was a very, very long weekend.
Yeah, it feels like an eternity. It really does.
Yeah, it really does sometimes. Like I'm like, okay, get back to school so I can make noises on my computer.
Right. I have to run my internet show. Get back to school.
It's very important.
It's very important. No, it's important to me. But, it's funny, like, trying to explain all this stuff to my daughter. It's so different than when my dad was, like, when I was my daughter's age. You know what I mean? And, like, how I looked at, like, what my dad did, you know, like he's in a suit going to work or something, and then I'm in here like blasting synthwave, being like, "Is the saxophone too loud?" And she's just like rolling her eyes.
Are you playing a nap?
Do you
Were
think
you
these?
sleeping?
Do you think these plucks are okay? And she's like, "I don't want to be part of this." And I'm like, "Not yet, not yet. One day you will."
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Sam just popped in and said, "Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button." Thank you, Sam. I always forget to say that.
Or the bellification.
Yeah, the bellification button. You got to hit that.
You know what is always weird to me is like you ever try to describe what you do to like a normal person?
Yeah, it's
that
awful.
is not part of
I don't
this?
even do
It's
it
the
anymore.
worst. I don't even. Yeah. Like,
If
I always feel
somebody
like
is like, "What do you do?" and I'm like,
halfway
"Bank robber." I don't know.
I live in a castle.
Right. I repair castles, or I'm just make up anything, because trying to explain to somebody that isn't aware. And I know some people have said you can try to describe synthwave, by bringing up like the Weekend or something like that. But even then, they don't really get that connection, I've found.
No.
And then
No,
if you
no,
show them something, they're like, "Oh."
You mean like video game?
Right, and I'm still waiting for like the dad in the area to ask me, and then he's like, "Yo, what is this?" And I'm like, "Yes, I found somebody."
One dude, yeah. I have one person like that.
I have one
actually. There's
person.
one dad. Yeah, there's one
Oh,
dad
that's
out
right,
there
that's right.
who asks me when things are gonna come out and stuff like that. So that's cool. But like
That is
like,
cool.
I've at first I was really excited about it when I was putting out the first album and everything,
Yep.
and I was like telling the other parents, and then like I realized I don't remember when it clicked, but there was one day where I'm telling them about how I make music and then I'm working on the album, and like halfway into it I was like, nah, like, you know what, never mind. Like,
Yeah, it's like you literally
I'm a janitor.
see
There's anything else.
It's like you can see their eyes like become solid white. Like while you're
Right.
describing it
Yeah,
to
yeah.
them.
They're just like, okay.
I'm an adult too, okay?
Right.
No, I get it.
It's like I do this radio show
Yeah,
thing.
Dirt
You know what? Never mind.
Dirt Von Franz was said, "You guys just wait. What's that say? You guys don't
He
just
says,
say you
guys
make
don't just
music."
say you make music.
Yeah, I have in the past, and then it always follows up with like, "What kind?" And
Yeah,
then,
or it's like it's not even what kind, but then they'll just be like cool, and then
Right.
that's about it.
right, or it's always like, "Well, and what do you do?" And it's like, "I'm an astronaut," and you're like, "Oh, okay,
Right, yeah, it's always
cool."
like that. Or it's like in the synthwave community sometimes too. It'll be like, hey man, like.
Oh,
what do you
yeah,
do?
like
And they're
Dr.
"Yeah,
Crispy."
I'm an astrophysicist, and you're like, oh, okay, like.
Yeah, I love when people have like these super like amazing or impressive sounding jobs like that. Like there's doctors, and like Dr. Crispy's been in space before and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's such a wild place. I mean, there's so many
I
cool
went
people
outside
there.
today and I like cut my grass.
Right. Did a little grass cutting today. What did you do? I saved 10 kids' lives. Cool.
Right.
Just like me.
Yeah.
No, man, everyone
Saving-
plays their part.
saving people through
And
music, man. But
That's the best part of this community is that there's so many fascinating people, and so many people are willing to chat it up, do stuff, talk, and you get to meet so many people. And I know I've said this a trillion times, and everybody who's been listening to the show, like more than once has heard this, and they're probably Xing off their Synthwave Hangout bingo cards right now, of the same
for sure,
stuff we
yeah.
always talk about. But
yeah, it's like I was just had a thought in my head is like, when you're telling somebody you do music, I'm like, well, what do you do for like work? You're like,
right, I make music. Right.
like but I'm saying that's after you've explained that you make music. They're just like, what do you do for work? And you're like, oh,
Well, you work for the label, and that's something that people get.
yeah, true.
The thing that I've said before is that, I work for an independent electronic music label, and that seems to land with most people because
For sure.
they know what that means. And then if they ask more questions, then I'm in it. But until that point, then they're like, oh, interesting, that kind of thing. So
Oh, you do the bleep bloops. Okay.
yeah, right. Do the bleep bloops. That's exactly
bleep
right.
With the boom booms.
Right, the boom booms. And then you reply, you mean like an 808? And then you realize that everyone, then
Your
you're
level
screwed.
of nerdism is not their level.
Right, then you're screwed. So, anyways, okay,
my
let's.
grandma used to always call bass the boom booms, and always cracked me up. I don't know why.
That
it
is
always
really
made me laugh.
funny. It does make
Yeah,
sense too.
turn down the boom booms. I'm like,
Excuse me, right?
oh man.
All right, we got to move on. We're gonna be out of time if we don't.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I'll catch you after this next block.
All right, bro.
And we're back. Sam always busts my secret blocks of putting together because they're impossible to figure out by the sound of the music there.
Yeah, it's very mysterious.
Hey, man, I got an idea if it's okay with you. Since are you okay going over just a little bit?
Yeah, it should be fine. Why?
Well, there's some people in the chat here that have come in that I didn't have on the list here that I think would be cool to play. And so if it's okay with you and we can go back to doing a quick impromptu block here that I'll try frantically to get a links in. I want to play some tracks by Aaron Niles, the new one by Light Source, and the 6mix6 remix by Eric Powell.
Yeah, let's do that.
Is that fine with you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if anyone was expecting more of me and Dom going on again about heater repair or any other random thing.
I did have a funny story real quick though, as I was doing a physical at the doctor. You know how you got to you do the cup thing, for the physical.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, anyways, I go to put the cup in the doorway there, and I noticed that the handle on the door was loose, and then I tightened it and fixed it, and I was like, this is such a dad thing to do, right?
Yeah, you got to fix it up.
Like, oh, this is loose, I got to fix it real fast.
I was just thinking, I want to get a song on real quick by Sam as well. He has so many ones that I want to choose from, and I can't seem to find Eric's song anywhere. Okay, I'll figure this out while stuff is playing. But I'm gonna throw a Dream Pocket song on as well. It's funny. It's like I like to try to hit everybody if we can. Sometimes with a guest we don't have time, right? But since we don't have a guest, it's like perfect timing here. So
I believe in you. You got this.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. So all right, guys. So we're gonna go back to the music real quick so we can hit up some of these wonderful people that are still in the chat with us. I appreciate you all. Oh yeah, and Daniel, I gotta get some of Daniel Quasar's music. I've heard unreleased stuff and everything, but I would have thrown something on for him as well. But we can do that in the future though, because I'm sure I'll be getting a lot of his stuff. So he said it. He goes. Daniel goes, I love when my dads talk about doing dad things. Amazing. All right, guys. So here we go, and then we'll come back after this.
We
And we're back. Are you still here? Are you still here with me, Dom?
I am, yeah. Just like, I was just thinking to myself.
That's a vibe block there, which I know takes you a minute sometimes to come back from.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say that, and it's like it always seems like right towards the end of the show that like there's like a million things that happen.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You talking about like in the house and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
same
million
here.
things have to happen, like right when things are like about to wrap up.
Right. Well, this is our last talking section. This is our sign off. You know, we got 3 more tracks as we always do, so you'll be able to get back to the madness momentarily. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
2 hours of a show is a hard ask for sure, and a lot of our guests do it, and I'm always appreciative of that, and that goes for you as well. I mean, it's hard to put 2 hours aside.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly just like all 3 dogs have to go outside. My phone's like some random person calls my phone or texts me. It's like always something is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Like I might joke before that everybody decides to ring my doorbell or call me during the show. So, and remember, I think it was a show where you commanded everybody in the chat to call my phone or something.
Yeah, I think there was one of their early shows.
Because it was ringing during the thing because I forgot to turn the ringer off. Call him, go.
Everybody's saying they want 3 hours.
Yeah, Daniel wants all day. Yeah, if we can get a private funding source, I'll do the show for 8 hours every day.
Yeah, for sure.
If we get
For
real
sure.
sponsors, this can be my life.
I'm okay with that.
So, oh my god. I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, I mean,
I was just checking the track list. I want to try to play people that are in the chat. If the whole show is run from MP3s. I don't stream from Bandcamp or whatever, and I always buy the music that we play. And so it's like Midnight Void's in the chat, and I know him from other chats I'm in, so I got to pick up some of his stuff as well. So if he's in next time, I can give him a spin as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's what I was trying to remember to say. But so go on. I think I cut you off.
I honestly don't remember. I was gonna say I have the normal, be nice to everybody. I love everybody, thing.
It lands so well when you're like, yeah, the be nice to everybody or whatever.
It's been a day. Like I said, it's been a day, man.
dogs.
Because you ever have those? Yeah, right. You ever have those days where it's like, just you wake up and then you're the first thing you think is, all right, here we go.
Yeah, right, sure. Yeah, many days like that. Many days like that. It makes me long for the times, like when back in school we're on summer vacation and you didn't have to like work that day, and you literally could just wake up and be like, what am I going to do today? And that's it. It wasn't like you wake up and you're like, oh, okay.
I missed those days. I missed the days
things
of
to go.
not knowing what I was going to do and just winging it.
Absolutely. Benny Grid says, I'm calling you, Dave. Pick up. No, you're not. Although they could. Yeah, I don't know. But yes, you're right. Your message, like when you had to bail, that was what, with Chroma Cloud, right? Was that last week?
Yeah, that was last week. It sucked.
Wow.
I felt bad. It's just I had to.
For sure. Yeah. But I gave your message at the end. Don't worry.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
I'm going to make sure. But Dominic, your message of being kind to everybody and it making a difference. I first, I think, heard April say that on her old show.
The same kind of thing.
And it's very true. It's very, very true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like I said, it's just one of those things where I truly believe that, if you just take a moment, sometimes it makes somebody's day a little bit better.
Absolutely. I want to thank
your day a little bit better too.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody in the chat as well. As always, you guys are incredible. You make the show, and we wouldn't be able to do this without everybody in there. I'm waiting for Craig to now yell roll call 30 seconds from the time I'm saying this, to our eyes anyways. Craig always wants me to go down a huge list. But everybody here I really appreciate, and Dominic does as well, I know. So
of course, yeah.
So we got 3 songs, and we have a guest next week scheduled, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, great. And the guest that we were going to have today, we will be rescheduling for next time. So no worries about that. And not next time, but in the future, like at our next available thing, because we absolutely need to have him on. But we got 3 songs left. Because we won't be coming back and talking about it. The order, we have a song by Alex Lightspeed, a song by List, and then a song by Jesse Mock. And Dominic, thanks again for being on the show with me and everyone in the chat. And we will see you all next Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, and then did you want me to announce who's being on next week? Or
Oh, sure, you can if you want to.
okay, I was gonna say because next week we have Von Kaiser.
Ooh, very good. That's right. Yeah,
It's the third.
Von Kaiser next week. Very much looking forward to that show. I thought that was a little bit later, so I'm extra excited now
Oh, it's
about
the
that.
third. Yeah. It took me back a second actually too because I was like, oh, the third is next week.
Right, yeah, I didn't feel like I knew it was in early June, but I didn't realize it was that early. So Craig just said, wait, no roll call?
Oh,
He's mad. Hey, a big thanks personally to Craig Packman, our constant supporter.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, super fan. Always nice.
So, all right, guys, we'll see everybody next week. Hope everybody has a great rest of your week and a great rest of your day. Later, everyone.
Later.
The clouds dance on a pastel sky as I drift right back to that place. And all I have to do is close my eyes to disappear without a trace.